Was the early church socialist? This is a super important question today because socialism is kind of back on the radar. People are talking about it. Well, the only way to answer this question is to go back and see what the early church actually practiced and to be careful how we define socialism. Now, socialism essentially is just a political and economic theory in which the means of production and distribution of goods is owned by the community as a whole. And remember, it's a political and economic theory. Now, if you turn to the Bible, in the early church, the book of Acts, Jesus had resurrected, commissions his apostles, Peter gives his first sermon at Pentecost, and then the early believers start meeting together to build the church. Let's read how Acts describes what happens in chapter 2. And all who believed were together and had all things in common. Verse 45, and they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. 46, and day by day, attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad and generous hearts. Now, when we first look at this passage, you realize, wait a minute, they all brought their stuff together to be owned by the community and then was spread out from a central organization. Is this socialism? Well, there's two big differences that we can't miss. Number one, this activity was voluntary. It was voluntary. People chose to be a part of the church. People chose to come and give their goods and their money to then be distributed to others. In socialist countries, it's not voluntary, but here it was. Second, this wasn't a government or state-ran operation. This was the church. It was a small segment of people within a larger Roman Empire. So a state political and economic theory is very different than a church practice that we see in the Bible. So yes, there was community where people worked together, but this is nothing like the kind of socialism we see in countries today.